Hi there and welcome to a beautiful early spring afternoon here in Goldcrest Valley at our pig farm. It's snowing. This is the first day of the second year. And to be honest, I hope that doesn't disappoint you too much because you really haven't missed much. The first year of seasons is basically like the first day in the game without the mod. It's basically preparation, figuring things out, especially as like me, you may also be quite new to seasons, and I really am just still getting my head around it. Now, just to briefly go over what we've done here so far in the first year, we have done a harvest. The harvest is now contained in this silo: barley, canola and corn. That is all we have. Everything else we have has been fed to the pigs. I have tried to figure out, and I'm pretty sure about this, that harvest will exactly keep 30 pigs alive for a year. We may be cutting it a little bit fine on barley, but we'll see. I do have sugar beets stored over here on the floor. I just find it easier just to grab a few with the shovel rather than to mess about with a trailer, because the pigs at this stage of the game, with 30 of them, really don't get through too much of them. And just to point out, it doesn't affect crops, but this is from the Médecins Sans Frontières mods that came out, the shed pack. It does not protect from snow, and it also in seasons will not protect your bales from rain, so do be aware of that. You may have problems if you stick your bells in there for a few days and come back after some rainy weather. Right, as you can see, it is snowing. There's a marker top right that is telling us that the ground is frozen, so even if I went to the trouble of clearing the snow, I can't really touch the fields at all. As you can see, what was left from the harvest, and I'm playing on normal, so the animals also have been fed everything that was in the silo at the beginning of the game, apart from the soybeans, which I sold because there was a great demand, and I got about $20,000 for it, so that was very, very useful. Because one of the issues here is I'm not really sure so far how hard or how easy it's going to be to keep these pigs going and keep this farm going. I'm quite confident that we are going to have to do some bits and pieces of other work to keep this on its feet. Now, I own very little. That I have found is very important. I've got my wonderful Valtra N series uprated to 185 horsepower. It is my only tractor. I basically have a selection of front loader tools. The duplicates are, so there's a bell spike at the sheep and there's a bell spike up here at the pigs, and the bucket usually stays on the front loader most of the time. I am equipped to do a bit of light forestry. We'll talk about that more in a while. The only original piece of equipment I have left is this trailer that is worth so little, it's really not worth replacing. Even though technically its daily costs are a bit high for over what they should be, it really doesn't matter. It's not worth selling that and replacing it, and it's handy. This is maybe my one little bit of laziness. This stays down at the sheep to do their cleanliness. For me, it's like having a guy pop over there once a day. They don't need much work. I've only got 10 sheep. They're a bit of an experiment. I've never raised them before in season, so we're going to see if they're even worth the effort. We've got chainsaw, of course, jet wash, why not? We've sold most of the buildings that we started the game with, kept one large storage shelter. That's all we need. We've got the shed you just saw up at the pigs. We've kept the fertilizer. We've kept one trailer. This trailer is in every one of my playthroughs. I sometimes forget it's a mod. The Brantner bale trailer, it's been a mod since the game released, and is just so useful. It's essential to every game that I play. I don't think I've played a game without one of those. The Wopster, we'll see what that's about. One small shelter over by the sheep to keep their bales dry, and a toolbox so we can do the servicing on the vehicles at a bit of a discount and without having to drive over to the shop to do them. And that is everything we own. The racking was a bit of an experiment, not really sure we need that at all. And the trailer is an option. Oh, and just while we're here, we do have the water trailer that is obviously essential for the animals because they have no productivity and in fact will die in seasons without water. That's on permanent lease because the use time is literally when it's hitched to a vehicle. And do bear that in mind. Don't leave stuff you've got on lease hitched up. It's ticking up hours, and also tractors left with the engines running are ticking up hours, so do pay attention to that. Probably more than I do. Right. Yeah, this tipper we've actually got attached to the tractor right now. Oh, look at me detaching completely the wrong thing. Oh, I could demonstrate clearing snow. While we're here, the snow does slow you down. However, the snow blower is probably the best thing to clear it with. In fact, we'll probably borrow one and demonstrate at some stage before we finish this episode while the snow's on the ground, because I don't think it's going to be here tomorrow looking at the weather forecast. On rough ground, most of the other things that you could use to clear snow are pretty ineffective or a bit problematic purely because of the terrain and getting them level to it. Some of the blades and levelers, they can be tricky to use. The snowblower will just clear you a nice big path, but you do have to blow the snow into a tipper and then empty out the tipper. Anyway, when I actually select the right implement and leave the tipper here, we shall go and see our sheep, take them some water. And also, something I'll just mention, the snow, when you pick it up, it will usually appear in your bucket or your tipper or whatever as whatever the last material you had was in there. There's no actual, it would seem, substance to be snow once you've picked it up. Right, so you'll see that we've been through here a couple of times already through the snow, so it is a little bit easier. I guess we've basically maybe remove some layers, and we are moving pretty nicely, so it's not really worth clearing it, to be honest. It wouldn't make that much difference to our speed. Up here, you will see we've left half cleared up a tree. We're doing a little bit of light forestry again. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Let's get over to the sheep. They are short of water. If we give them some water, then they will have food and water for the next 3 days. Now, we're going to be quite busy tomorrow because obviously not being able to do any groundwork today in the fields means there's some extra stuff to catch up with potentially. Now, in terms of the playthrough and exactly what I actually show you in an episode, we're going to have to play that by ear, because some days with one tractor, and I may sometimes lease extra vehicles, there's no doubt about that, but basically with one tractor, which is how I think this farm's going to need to operate, there's not going to be much for you to see, because it is literally, I know, going to spend a working day cultivating and seeding and a working day doing those kind of jobs. So what we'll do is concentrate really on the things that we need to do to keep this farm going, because I live in quite a rural area myself, and in fact the village has a cattle farm, lots of arable, sheep all over the place at the moment, grazing on the grass fields that then will grow for the summer and be cut for hay. There was a pig farm and it closed down, and it was simply because I know the guy that runs it. He ended up doing so many odd jobs to make ends meet on the income from his pig farm that he just thought, well, I might as well just do something else properly rather than just doing all this to make ends meet. So yeah, he sold all the pigs and concentrates on arable now, I believe. Anyway, now up at the pigs, the cleanliness is 100% because the snow's covered the area in front of their feeding trough. You'll notice over here at the sheep, well, the cleanliness is 0%. It's because I actually cleared the snow. I was here when the snow was coming down and I was just messing around with it, to be honest with you. We've got this chap here. This is our little cleaner upper. You still have to start his engine. Oh no, he's full of snow. See, just like the bucket, the snow has now displayed itself as grass. Can be a little bit funny about where it wants to unload. Or is it because it's just filling up again? Oh, I tell you what, we're going to leave him to be confused by the snow. And if we can, we'll get back in our tractor. Right, first of all, let's give these sheep the water. And remember, everything in seasons only holds 3 days. 3 days of food, 3 days of water. I need to now get the snow out of my bucket, even though that's pretending by the look of it to be canola. And I don't know if any of you find it the same, but I really need to do front loading from this side of the tractor. I get that some of the controls just completely reversed in my head if I look at it from the other side. There we are. No, we're not cleaning it. They're full. Absolutely full. We'll wait here. We'll turn the engine off, like I reminded you to do. Right, here's our basic setup here. We've just built this small shelter. We've got some bales of hay, which is enough to keep the sheep going, and we've got some bale forks just so we can put them in as and when necessary. And the sheep have survived literally just on the mowing from the fields behind us, around the fields behind us. You get told off if you get too close to the fields, but we've managed to find enough. While I'm here, we're going to scoot along here with the water container. It's pretty well full anyway, but we have found just along here, there we are, a nice spot to fill it up, so it's less of a journey than to the beach over to the eastern side of the map, and the terrain is reasonably friendly here for doing this, provided I don't steer completely the wrong way. Just to get down in here, refill, oh, I said that, but I've never done it in the snow before. Oh, there you go. Nearly got myself stuck. Right, let's do the magic detach and reattach trick. No. I'm going to fall in. I will not be beaten. No, we've lost the trailer. So there you go, a lesson learned. We'll have to reset that to the shop. Thought it was good to impress you all early on. Never underestimate the power of the snow. I certainly did there. It's very easy to dip that water tanker in and bring it out on the rocks that are there. Anyway, back to the situation on this farm. I know it's going to be a little bit of a struggle based on the income from the pigs. We also built the 10 sheep. As I said, to learn about how they get reared and their productivity in seasons. And just because I cannot afford to buy, I can't buy more pigs because I cannot feed them. We have the free starter fields, which I can't show you very well now because they're covered in snow. The free starter fields have been ploughed out pretty much as they can be. I'm going to get some petrol, I'll forget. And I've also ploughed out 2 more patches of land. And that has produced the harvest, which I think will pretty much exactly keep those 30 pigs going for the year. God, takes ages this, doesn't it? Oh, it's a big old fuel tank. This Valtra N series, it is absolutely my favourite probably tractor, the most versatile tractor of this game. Thoroughly recommended. In terms of performance for the money, it is by far the best performing tractor. And it hasn't let me down with anything yet. So to make ends meet, we're going to have to come up with some kind of secondary incomes. Now, doing jobs for our guys around here is an option. The income is much reduced with the mod installed. I also think this is more realistic in terms of the income and the way that guys sort of work for each other, help each other out. And I know from what goes on around here that that's exactly what the farmers do. That really is kind of part of the community, that they do really help each other out. You see all the farmers in each other's fields doing the baling, getting the harvesting, all that kind of time critical kind of a stuff. And you know, they do it quite freely, really. It's part of what they do. And the same can be said for equipment. You know, some of the guys have got some equipment, they'll lend it out. It's not letting me tip the snow because I'm private property. Oh well, not to worry. And that really brings me on to the subject of the shop and the way in which we can buy something for a half an hour, use it, and then take it back, get full price. In fact, you don't have to bring it back, you could just sell it from the menu. Now, what we're going to do here, while there's snow on the ground, because why not, we are going to buy a snowblower and a little tipper and have a go on it. Now, what is important, and it's almost a restriction, in return for using this facility, and I do intend to use it, particularly a baler. I think I'm just going to borrow the baler for the amount of time we use it. You do need the money to buy it. And the other piece of equipment that we may borrow, simply because it is so expensive otherwise, is the sugar beet harvesting equipment, because we'd like some sugar beet to keep our pigs at 100%, but it is a huge piece of equipment in terms of investment, so we may well borrow that too. To do so, you need to have the money to buy it and then bring it back, which is the reason why my loan is at 150,000, and that whole loan was the animals. The 30 pigs and the 40 sheep, maybe a couple of bits and pieces too. That was really what that whole loan is on. It leaves me basically a loan potential of $150,000 or pounds or euros, and we can use that to buy pretty much anything I think we're going to need on this farm. You can then return the equipment, pay the loan straight back, and you won't actually pay any interest on it, because I'm pretty certain that all interest payments happen at midnight based on your loan at midnight. So if you borrow some money for the half hour that you borrow the equipment, then you should get away with that without it costing you a penny. That whole loan was for the animals. The 30 pigs and the 10 sheep were the $150,000. I've left $150,000 available. That should be able to mean that I can buy and then return pretty much any equipment we're going to need on this farm, at least for the foreseeable future. Another way of looking at this is, rather than people lending each other equipment, that if you go to the dealers and you can show them that you can afford to buy equipment, then they'll lend it to you as a trial. So either way, you know, I don't think it's a counter-realistic thing. I don't intend to take too much advantage of it. I suppose in theory you could buy yourself a brand new tractor every half hour and never actually pay for one, but that would probably be quite interrupting in terms of getting any work. Now, if we just stay on the finance screen for a moment, if you see there, vehicle running costs, vehicle leasing costs, which is the water container, animal upkeep charges and property maintenance. So there are our core kind of expenses in terms of equipment and the farm, etc. And we're looking at 14, 15, 16, nearly $1,700 a day. Now, when it comes to expenses, we got $1,250 a day just interest on the loan, so that's quite a major expense too, and that's also seems to be something that's increased slightly in seasons, that you pay more interest on your loan. But I will double check that and get back to you. So we're going to be spending, and that's pretty much, yesterday's figures were pretty clean. We're going to be spending about $2,800 a day just to be keeping the farm ticking over. So that's going to be quite a lot of money over the year. That's over $32,000 just for those expenses, and the pigs I don't think will make us $32,000. Plus we need to do a harvest, and we need to plant the fields, and we need to lease equipment for that, and we will need to pay some wages, although that's something I'm going to try to minimize as much as possible. And so there you go. Yeah, that is basically what we're faced with. So into the shop now, and we're going to buy ourselves a... No, we're not, are we? Because I still need to go into the finances screen and borrow about $25,000. That should cover us. And we're just going to grab a tipper and buy it. And we are going to go to miscellaneous, and we're going to buy the Bio Belt snowblower, and we're going to change it to match our tractor. It can come with a work light, kind of handy at night. Why not? We're not going to pay for it anyway. I hope you like the little colour scheme we got here. It's in honour of a little Citroen Zaxo that we own and use, and also use for auto tests, and have much fun with. It's also a fantastic car for the country lanes around here, and it's this colour, which is mango according to Citroën. But anyway, enough of that. I'm going to cut across here. Be very careful cutting these curbs. If you haven't got a very powerful tractor, you can get very stuck, but I've got quite a powerful tractor. Right, we need to unfold our snowblower. We need to put the pipe out. We need to uncover our trailer. We need to lower our snowblower, and we need to turn on our snowblower. And there we are. We are blowing snow. Don't drive too fast. I'm doing this perfectly for demonstration purposes, just as with the incident with the water container. You're going to fill up pretty quickly, depends how big your tipper is, and as I say, and then you're going to need to empty. I'm sure I've seen a trailer where it's just blowing off to the side. Maybe that's something our PC friends can do that we can't. So lift, and as you see, well, no, I thought things filled up with what they were filled up with last time, but obviously we've just bought that, so it's never been filled with anything. So maybe it just randomly chooses, because I've seen snow be silage, canola, grass, and there we go. And then we can continue clearing snow. So if you really want to get your snow cleared, this is really how I recommend you do it, certainly on console. On these very, very flat fields, the blades and levelers will work quite well. Once you're on tracks and on any kind of uneven terrain, they will just bounce about and stick in and miss and basically slow you down. So there we go, and then all we need to do is sell them back. Full price, no worries, and then remember to go on your finance screen and we'll repay the $25,000. So before you forget, like I have before, and then get clobbered for the interest on it. So yeah, make sure you pay it back, and you're not going to pay a penny. Right, animals wise, the sheep have got water, the pigs have got enough water to last a day since I've lost the water that we had. And yeah, so let's head back up. So that's pretty much where we are, and I'm going to meet you back over at the farm. Just compliments while we're here to whoever it is who's responsible for keeping the roads here salted and cleared. I wish we got the service like that around here. Yeah, well done. Lovely effect of snow on a landscape. It's a very nice thing to have in the game. Wonder why it was never in the base game, really. So there you go. I'll see you back at the farm. And here we are just getting back to our farm. And I did go the long way around and get some more water into the aquatrans. Now you can see I've run up and down here a couple of times already during the course of today. Haven't really done much work, I must say, but that's okay. Right, in this shed here is almost all we have. We have got a little stash of seed and we've got some fertilizer. The animals will obviously produce eventually. Oh, toolbox is stashed down there. Jet wash is over here. Always ready for action. He's a little bit warm all the time, look, so he keeps a bit of snow off of too. Now unfortunately, because of the snow, you cannot see the fields. So let's have a look at the map. Here we are, over here. This is us. We've got our 3 starter fields. Now we'll switch this on to soil composition and you will see what I've ploughed out. Basically, this area here, we've cleared a few trees, which made us a little bit of money, which was handy too. And this patch here, which is very tiny, all we've had out of there so far is sugar beet, just to get it going. I think going forward, that's just going to be a top-up area to get the barley harvest up a little bit. And we will have to play it by ear on how we kind of manage that. Ideally, we do want to get hold of an extra field to have a bit of leeway. That is something we're going to need to aim for, I think. Certainly we're going to expand the pig production and be able to basically feed more than 30 pigs in a year. So we'll head back up to the pigs. The very observant among you may notice that these little paths I've already made through the snow were a little bit barer before I went into the menu screen. I've actually had to quit the game and reload to go and cook some dinner, some delicious soup in fact in this case. And yeah, they seem to reset a little bit, but not too troublingly. Even the Voucher struggles up this hill in the snow, where you've already seen him almost fall in the river. So yes, snow definitely has an effect. If you're going to be having snow on the ground for a couple of days, it may well be worth the effort to clear some paths. I don't think we're going to really need to in this case though. And here we are, we're back to our woodland forestry equipment. And one ways we're going to top up our income is I've had a chat with the town council, and around this map, and unusually because I haven't really noticed them on other maps, not certainly nowhere near so much, are quite a lot of these dead trees. So our forestry in the main is going to be limited to getting around the map and taking down some of the dead trees for obvious health and safety reasons. There's some more over this side. There aren't too many of them on the map, but yeah, there'll be a little top up. What I'm basically trying to do is not just go off for a day and make $100,000 chopping down trees. However, you know, we may get to that, who knows, and if we need that new field or some plan we come up with, then that may be the only way we can afford it. And I'm very open to any input from you guys as to how we go through with this and what kind of course we take. Like every farm I play, this is as much research centre as it is food production facility. So do feel free. Right, so after making it much more difficult than it ever needed to be, we shall initially top up the pigs with some water We shall leave the trailer there if I select the right implement again, because of course it's reset since I reloaded the game. Right, and before the day ends, I'm going to go to the right end of the trailer. And I've literally done no work around the farm today. Let's just get around here. Got a pile of sugar beet in there, by the way. That'll keep us going for a good long time at the rate the animals actually use it. We'll go through some of the figures and projections in a little bit more detail at the beginning of the next episode. This really is just a tour. We've got some straw stashed in here. We've got 2 bales left. It's not very much at all. And if we have a look in the animal menu, they're full of straw. So that's the 6 days, those 2 bales, over 6 days worth of straw. We've got plenty of straw. The food, as I said, that's left in the troughs there, that is really the remains, well, it is the remains of the food that we started the game with. We're playing in normal mode, which is actually a little bit unusual for me. But from what I've seen in the first year, it's actually going to be quite hard, which is nice. I don't know if this would even be workable at all, as in the reliance on the pigs on hard, because of the reduced income that you're going to get from the pigs anyway, which seems to be more reduced than the income we'd get from the crops. So no, I don't think that would be workable. But we're in for a bit of a challenge here, even on normal. So we've got enough food to last till the morning. I'm not even going to do that today. We're going to set everything up in the morning with our 1 year's worth of food, hopefully for our harvest. So for now, I'm going to leave you while I just sit up here and watch my happy pigs. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe if you want to keep up to date. I will be posting some more little tutorial videos. I'm going to do another one on cutting trees to maximize the money from them, because I've seen some big YouTubers with videos out there with lots of views, really not giving some very accurate advice, to be honest with you. So if you come and watch my videos, you will get some get the results of all the experiments and all of the silly mucking abouts that I do on my farms, and you're welcome to join me. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. I'll see you very soon, and then we will actually get on with running this wonderful farm. Thank you very much for watching. I'm going to leave you with a clip, as I think I mentioned earlier, just a little journey yesterday to the workshop and some of the stuff that we saw, just so you got an idea of where it is we live.